Hey everyone! If you're a leader looking for an end-to-end goals and initiatives system that can scale with you and create organizational sanity, this video is for you. Currently, I lead product and strategic planning at a high-paced 500-plus person e-commerce startup, and there's a lot of connecting that happens. You need to seamlessly connect your vision to your goals to the day-to-day work on the ground. Traditionally, this involves many Google Sheets, Google Docs, meetings, and sometimes just a lot of Slacks. Not only does this create overhead, but it hurts shared understanding, or to use a term from the CEO of Airbnb, shared consciousness. Luckily, I'm in the position to help improve how we work, so I started to build a system off Coda, which is a collaborative productivity platform that I chose because I've been following the company for several years, and I appreciated its originating focus on building around a core source of truth. Despite how robust Coda was, though, I still ran into some challenges. Most templates out there were either Big Rock focused or OKR focused, but no initiatives, or they were either too simple or too complex. So I decided to create my own end-to-end system with just the fundamentals. And no, this isn't a sponsored video for Coda. I'm just really impressed by what they built. You certainly don't have to use it, just know that choosing the right platform early on is valuable because switching later is a real pain. Alright, enough talking, let me give you a quick tour of the workspace so you can see if it's the right fit for you. Okay, so what you're currently looking at is our central workspace. It is essentially a sanitized, streamlined version of what I use every day, so let's walk through this. First is a page for your North Star. And this is perhaps the most important alignment page for your company. Who you are, what you want to see in the world, and how are you going to do it better than anyone else. This is why we work. I give a few prompts to help you get started, but ultimately expect this to be the hardest and most important exercise that you'll do as leadership. All right, so let's get into the meat of things. A high-level view of your OKRs lives on the Goals tab. Now, you can always change what you call these, but they're essentially the goals of your company. Now, the beauty here is that you can connect everything together. So your OKRs, let's say this company OKR, can be connected to any child team key results, as well as being able to see status updates, as well as projects underneath it. Here's an example of where maybe this team key result has some historical status updates. You can see that as it updated over time, the latest status reflects the latest status update. I've given you a couple of other controls that you can play with. One is that you have the ability to adjust how your progress is calculated. So if you use manual, your progress will be calculated based on the baseline, current, and goal, and how far along you are. If you do it based off of average, it will recalculate based on the average of your child projects and the progress of those projects. You can also do things like toggle between years. So if you toggle to a previous year, you will be able to see previous year goals as well. So you can continue to use this as your organization scales and goes through multiple cycles of OKRs. You can also incorporate big rocks, which are simply major strategic projects or investments. You could either change one of these key results to represent the big rock so that they're the parent grouping here for any child key results. Or if there are certain key results that are linked to big rocks, then you can easily say, oh, I want to see the goals associated with a particular big rock, and you can filter accordingly. And that's something that you'll learn how to do when you set up the big rocks using this template. Now let's actually go into the actual projects and initiatives. We'll primarily start by looking at a roadmap lens. And so the tricky thing normally with roadmaps is that you might want to have multiple different views, not just the OKR view, but maybe you want to see the Big Rock roadmap, maybe you want to see a team roadmap, or even have custom views such as a product roadmap. And obviously, I think at the end of the day, as a rule of thumb, the company's most important priority should drive the order of a roadmap. But there are many different cases in which we want to look at strategic lens just so that we can understand whether different points of view are still being prioritized in the most harmonious way that they can be. In this case, you can look at the company OKR roadmap and every single project associated with those company OKRs, as well as the underlying team key results, is just a different way of looking at the view when you were on the goals and you clicked on a specific goal. Now, you can create as many of these as you want to. All you have to do is click duplicate the page and duplicate using connected view so that they're still connected to the source data. And then you can choose the filters and filter to whatever company key result you want to look at. Another example that I commonly see is a Big Rock roadmap. So a Big Rock, as I mentioned, are the major strategic initiatives at the company and typically require significant effort and have bigger impact, and therefore they have projects underneath them as a larger project. So as you can see, I filtered it by the Big Rock. Now for a team roadmap, I gave you a very robust roadmap that you can play with. You can duplicate this as many times as you want, change the department, change the team, have a different view. And depending on whoever is the owner on a project, it will already know what team is associated with it. So since I put myself here and I'm associated with department 1 and team 1, it automatically classified me under this team page. In this way, you can easily see the goals associated with different teams. You can also see the projects. Now, there are some teams who prefer to manage through a Kanban. And by the way, when you duplicate this, you could delete these tables. You can collapse tables if you wanted to. It all just depends on how you want to see your own work. So all teams can manage their views differently. In this case, if you want to use a Kanban, you can. These tasks could come from these different projects. So for example, if I wanted to look at all projects associated with this big rock project, you can see that there's these 2 tasks. And if you want to mark done, they'll go away. But you can always bring them back by either taking off the filter or unchecking done. And then the last one I want to talk about a little bit is the custom roadmap display. Or maybe you want to create a view that doesn't perfectly align with a team filter or a OKR or a big rock, but you still want to see certain projects associated with each other. So one example is a feature roadmap. I actually use this internally for the product team because not every project that has product on it is actually part of the product roadmap. We sometimes have projects that are not actually a feature, let's say some organizational related thing, etc. And so it's helpful for us to actually have a filter for a custom roadmap display. And you can easily create new custom roadmap displays by coming here and adding new. One quick note here on roadmaps is that some teams who don't necessarily want to use a Coda roadmap, you can always add a page embed, and you can actually just embed a Google Sheet, and at least everybody can have the same visibility and see everything in one place. Cool, so those are roadmaps. Next is the operating pulse. This section reflects your core operating rituals, how often you want to come together to review results and performance. You can also link your company's analytics dashboards here. I like to use this space so everyone understands on what cadence they're going to be receiving different reports. If you are an advanced user, Coda actually has a lot of tools for being able to connect Snowflake and create more custom views. If you get to that point, you can actually incorporate that here as opposed to linking it out or embedding. All right, the next most important thing is meetings. And every company has meetings, and you can't fully get away from them. And there is a very good reason for them. Oftentimes you need to meet because you need to align on a very important conversation and you want to make sure nothing gets lost in translation. Or you want to do a brainstorm and it's something that requires a little bit more synergy that you get from IRL and being sync. There are also cases where you really need to deeply debate something, but overall you want to be able to incorporate meetings effectively. One approach that I have here is to be able to create different meeting series all from this same tab. So for example, you could have a weekly staff meeting, a strategy B meeting, and you can add new meeting series here. Once you've selected the meeting, then you can add topics. What I generally recommend is to add a topic that is not called just week of something conversation, because it's difficult for that topic to roll if you need to revisit and discuss that in a following week, and then your meeting notes get all disjointed. In general, I would suggest having a topic focused on something that you actually want to discuss, and then you can maintain continuity even if it has to go to a follow-up meeting. If you have any follow-ups associated, they will show up in the follow-ups table, which are the same tasks that live in the task table, so they will show up in all the different task views as well. After you're done with your meeting, the meeting summaries will show up here. You can always filter and see past meetings. If you go to my dashboard, I have created a central place where you can see all your goals and projects and tasks in one place. And as you can see, any tasks that were created from other projects, you will be able to see them here, and you can get all the metadata associated with that task. All right, so lastly, projects. I'm not going to go into this. This is essentially all the projects that have been created for your company, and you can filter and look through all of them. Now, I won't go deeply into setup here, but to set up your workspace, you essentially just need to set up your different base tables. I've created the tables for you. You just need to add your objectives, projects, tasks. You can also do it top down directly from the goals, for example. You can add them here if you want to, whatever's easier. Cool, so we reached the end. A lot of work went into getting the system set up, but now that I have it, I want to give it to you as well to help you scale your processes. Especially in a world of AI, who has time these days to be doing work or having meetings that you don't have to? Seriously, I can't do anything these days without thinking, could I be doing this faster? Or could an AI be doing it? If you'd like to leverage this template, just click on the link below to purchase or check out the free version. I've also included a link. Hope my journey helps to streamline yours, and I'm excited to see what you do with it. So thanks, and see you next time.